The Rockwall Super Band as we continue with our halftime activities at the Class 4A State Championship. West Orange Stark out in front of Rockwall 14-7. We'll be back with more right after this.
A formal statement. Back to Kyle Field in College Station for the 4A State Championship football game. West Orange Stark leads at 14-7. Brian Jensen and Dan Gresham with you here. And before we get to the second half of play, let's take a look at some of the statistics out of that first half, and I think some of the things that might surprise you a little bit. First of all, the possession, the time of possession, because this is something that I think is very critical. 16 minutes for West Orange Stark, just 7 for Rockwall. And the way that you look at it in the numbers here, look at the yardage. West Orange Stark has pounded the football. They've moved it with will. 216 total yards to just 97 for Rockwall.
Well, I think the other thing that you look at, Brian, it's not up there, but the total number of plays per each team, it's so unbalanced. Rockwall has only gotten off 15 snaps of the ball. West Orange Stark 38. And you mentioned the balance. Look at the difference. Rushing 129, passing 87. That's a pretty good balanced offense there versus 36 for Rockwall, 61 passing. And you mentioned the totals. Turnovers, the only one that really counts is the interception that led to the very first touchdown at the beginning of the game for West Orange Stark.
And the penetrations, if they become important, obviously way in West Orange Stark's favor right now. But the scoreboard is also in favor. This is the score that put West Orange Stark ahead. It came with 3:45 left in the first half. Tremaine Lewis, Julian Richard, a perfect connection, great concentration, and it was 14-7 West Orange.
I'm still amazed at Richard's reception on that one. He had someone hanging all over him. And again, Lewis, too. He knew where he was going when he took the ball. He slung it out there, and that's what makes the difference right now. 14-7 at the half.
West Orange Stark, that was Richard's only catch of that first half, the 36-yarder for the touchdown. Lewis, meantime, is 7 of 12 for 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. On the other hand, Andy Holland, 1 of 3, an interception and a touchdown.
Yeah, but it was a big one, wasn't it?
That's
61 yards.
He's also been sacked twice. The West Orange Stark defense so far the story. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment. It's 14-7 West Orange Stark. Just about set to get started here in the second half, and this is a pretty good indication right here as West Orange Stark comes back out onto the field. The Mustangs, a team that usually starts pretty slow. Well, if that's the case and they lead 14-7 at the half, we should be in for some pretty good football here in the second half from the Mustangs.
Yeah, but you know, Brian, there are a lot of people who would have said it was going to be 21-0, if not a larger margin at halftime. So, although they've got a 7-point lead, you and I both know, everybody knows who watches football, it ain't nothing. You know, it's too short of a margin to feel comfortable. If we can quickly, let's talk about the second half. I mean, what do you see as being perhaps the major points, the points that were talked about at halftime by both teams?
Rockwall has got to stop the running game of West Orange Stark, because that is opening up everything for the Mustangs. The fact that they are able to pick up 5 and 6 yards on first down allows them to throw the football with better accuracy and everything else. On the other hand, West Orange Stark needs to do exactly what they're doing on defense. Not allow Burleson to start chewing up yardage. They've only got a 7-point lead, so you got to think Rockwall is going to stay with their offensive game plan, get Burleson to run as much as possible, and then go to that multiple offense with the air attack.
You know, I think that if I'm Dan Hooks, what I'm saying at halftime is, okay, don't get overconfident on me. Don't start thinking that you've got this ball game won just because you're up by 7 points at the halftime. We've got a lot of time to go. This is the championship game. This may never, ever happen again. It won't. And we have a chance to repeat as state champions. So if you're a Rockwall, you're saying just the opposite. Hey, it's 7 points. Troy Miller's telling his folks, stick to what we've been doing in the first half. We're okay. We'll get the ground game operating. We can break the back of the defense, and we're right back in this ball game with 1 quick touchdown in the first possession of the first half.
And forget the stats. That's not what wins a football game. The scoreboard is, and as you mentioned, they're only 7 down. We told you earlier about the weather conditions here. You think we were kidding about the rain. At one point, you could not see the stands on the other side of the field, and this is the outcome right here. A little bit further to the south, the tennis courts were blown over, the fences blown over in some unbelievably gusty winds, and at one time Oh, I'd say about 12:30 this afternoon. We were wondering if there'd be a football game here this afternoon.
Yeah, when the front came through, we had some lightning. We had some extremely high wind. As a matter of fact, one of the end zones, there's the tennis courts. You can see some of the damage, some of the screens knocked down. And we had a goalpost tilting to one side. They had to come back and correct. And you literally could not see across the stadium. The wind was blowing so hard, it shredded some of the flags that are hanging in the south end zone. The wind is still blowing, but there's no rain. Beautiful day now, sunshine. We can see almost all the way to Waco from our vantage point, about 8 stories up here at Kyle Stadium. And we're ready for the second half.
Russell Turkel with the kickoff, and it will go to the short man. Fumbled but picked up. And the return once again by Rockwall, a pretty good one. Brian McCormick takes it around the left side. And that is where Rockwall will start at about the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets as they pick it up on their first possession here of the second half.
I'm kind of interested to see if Troy Miller and his staff have tried to pick on some things at the half. If they've said, okay, the middle of the Mustang line is solid, maybe we need to work the option, maybe we need to go against the flow. They pursue so well. If we can get something started wide and then cut it back into the middle, will that help us out?
Andy Holland with Robbie Burleson and Wayman Moore in the backfield. The I formation behind Holland. Handoff goes to the second back. That is Burleson, and look at Burleson power. He has a first down on the first play of the second half, and we hadn't seen that out of Robbie Burleson yet. The fact that he can carry 2 or 3 defenders with him.
Quentin Tazzino comes up and helps out on the final stop. But Burleson will be the workhorse. You can bet on that. He has been all season. He gets the ball. Now watch. He breaks it off against the defense, and it takes 5 people before he's ever brought to the ground.
McCormick is actually the fullback now. Burleson playing the tailback position in the I, and the handoff again to Burleson. They're going to work this until it doesn't work, which is, well, right about now as the West Orange Stark Mustang defense with Valenti Allen jump in there to stop him for a gain of 2.
Allen, a senior, 207 pounds, 5'11", held his ground, got some help from Donovan Gans and also Paul Ebert to make the stop for only 3 yards.
2nd down and 8 officially as Rockwall again on their first possession here of the second half, trailing by 7, and they are in good field position. The I formation again, wide receivers split wide right and left for Holland, the quarterback. And off to Burleson. Now a gain of about 3 again as Rockwall obviously coming out here in the second half now. They're going to try to get a little bit of that ball control that West Orange Stark had in the first half, and then watch out for the quick hitter through the air.
Left side of the defense did a good job staying at home that time. Let me throw you a statistic. Only 3 teams have gotten on the scoreboard in the second half against West Orange Stark. See if Rockwall can become team number 4 in this 4A state championship.
3rd down and 5. Both receivers are left this time. The I formation again, stacked line, although West Orange Stark backs out of it. Burleson with the carry. He is stuffed at the line of scrimmage by about 3 or 4 defenders for West Orange Stark, included in that group Donovan Gans, Devron Temple, and Rick Deering.
Good job that time, because what they did was they showed the blitz on that 3rd down situation, forcing you, when you come up to the line and you see everybody up except 2 safeties, you either audible or you just get plain nervous because you don't know what you're going to do with the football once you get it. And that's what looked like it happened that time. And, of course, a big stop for the Mustangs on the first possession by Rockwall, forcing them to punt it away.
Kevin Kaufman is the punter. Good pressure, but he gets it away. Nice hanging punt. Fair catch called for by the Mustangs and kept. But it is inside the 15 as Kevin Smith pulls it down. That's where West Orange Stark will take over on their first possession when we return. The Mustangs lead Rockwall 14-7. The fight.